Welcome to the Positively You podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Larson, and I'm passionate about helping you shift the way you think so you can create a life you're absolutely obsessed with. Each week, I'll be bringing you a guest or a thought that's going to help you feel more optimistic and equipped to take real action. Get ready to push past limiting beliefs, ditch that negativity, and start showing up as the best and most positive version of you. Girl, let's do this. Hey, and welcome back to the Positively You podcast. I am so excited that you pressed play today because this interview is straight fire. I'm not even exaggerating a little bit. I was able to sit down with my friend Kelly and we talked all things dropping your inner mean girl, gaining a whole ton of confidence, and just learning to love yourself. I'm not joking. This interview was so good. When I sat here editing it, I was just like writing down all of these amazing little quotes and things that Kelly had just such amazing insight on. So here we go. Let's just get into it right now because this is one that you definitely do not want to miss. Okay, I am with my good friend, mentor, Kelli France. I have looked up to Kelly for so long, and she really is someone who inspires me so much to be my best self. And so I'm thrilled to have her on the podcast today. Hello, Kelly.
Hi, Jessie. Thanks so much for having me.
You are so welcome. I'm happy that you're on here. I tried to get Kelly way back in September, and literally like the forces of nature prevented that when my town had hurricane force winds, knocked out all the power, and I was like, this is not going to work. So months and months later,
so here we are now.
Here we are now. So Kelly, do you want to introduce yourself just a little bit and who you are and what you kind of do?
Yes. So I am a mom of 4 kids. I joke that my kids' personalities are like salsa. I've got habanero, habanero, spicy, medium, and mild. So, and I am also a business owner. I went from food stamps to 7 figures, and so I'm in network marketing, but I also have just launched my own podcast called Fearless Girl, and I also have a Fearless Girl book club where we all read. I'm huge about helping empower women to fear less and drop kick their inner mean girl, and so I have this book club to help them, boost their confidence through personal growth books, and we have the authors speak to us at the end of the month. So that's just kind of a little bit about what I do. And I live in Southern California. I love playing pickleball and surfing and shopping and eating. So there's me.
I love it. And okay, so if your kids are those 4 salsas, what salsa would you describe yourself as?
Oh, I'm like no one has ever asked me that. I'm like a combo of like spicy and sweet.
Okay. I was gonna say I'll be queso.
I'm like one of those like the like mango salsas where it's like spicy but sweet. So there's a little bit of sass and a little bit of class in there.
All right, mango salsa is Kelly.
Tell me why you're queso.
I don't know. Queso's kind of fun. Like it's a little bit like extra indulgence. Add the cheese. You can never go wrong with cheese.
And everybody loves it because everybody.
It's true.
Loves it. Yes. See?
Very true. All right. So that is exactly why I wanted to talk to you though. Your drop kick your inner mean girl is something that touches very close to me because everyone has an inner mean girl. We just do. And I even had an outer mean girl since reformed, thank the heavens. But she, that mean girl is inside of you. And so I love that you're on this mission and you have multiple ways of how you're kicking that inner mean girl. And your book club is one thing that I absolutely love. I'm a huge personal development junkie. I remember getting those Chicken Soup for the Soul books when I was like 11 years old. Like just diving into them. I'm like, I was such a personal development nerd from way back when. So your book club is so much fun. And I love that you do get those awesome authors on there to kind of dive in a little bit deeper after you've read the book. So much fun. But your mission, like you said, you have your podcast, Fearless Girl, and Dropkick Your Inner Mean Girl to gain more confidence. So how did you come to that? What was it that you were like, this is my thing. This is what I'm talking about. This is how I'm going to help make the world a better place?
So there's two kind of stories that go with that. One is that I used to be a photographer. I'm a serial entrepreneur. And I used to be a photographer for like 13 years. And I also got my teaching degree. So I love teaching so much. When I was a kid, I used to like line up my stuffed animals and teach them with my little fake chalkboard. And so once I kind of figured out photography and the business of photography, I started mentoring photographers, and I noticed a pattern that so many of them, I'd be like, Kate, here's all the amazing things you can do. And I saw so much potential in them, but they kept getting in their own way. And I noticed that it was, because of their own confidence in themselves. And I did this post on social media asking women, it was like, to rate their confidence on a scale of 1 to 10. And out of like 40 women who answered, the average number was a 5. And I was like, I am not okay with that number, because so many women are incredible and, have so much influence and do amazing things. And I was like, no, we cannot go around thinking we're a 5 out of 10, because that's just not the case. And so that like broke my heart. And then the other thing is that my own inner mean girl has gotten in my way, to a point where I, would spiral and begin having like suicidal thoughts. And I don't want that for anyone. And so I just feel really called by God to share this mission of helping women like with their self-talk. Because if you can get out of your own way, you can do amazing things, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you are a mom. You have so much influence. So if I can help women to love themselves so that they can, love others and empower others, then my work is done,
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that's so amazing. And that statistic that you share, that women are rating themselves at a 5. I would love to say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it comes from. Like if it's like we don't want to feel prideful, or if it's like we just kind of downplay ourselves. It's the same thing when we get compliments. Have you ever listened to yourself get a compliment and you either downplay it or you find something to compliment the person back on?
Yeah.
And it's like you get uncomfortable like noticing good about yourself.
True.
And I don't know, like it's this like ingrained thing where it's like we have to like not even be a mean girl, but just not let ourselves rise up to what we actually are accomplishing and what we're actually talented at. And so I love that you're in here being like, no, I'm not going to rate you a 5. So you're not going to rate you a 5. Let's actually rate you where you're at.
Yeah. Like you're an 11, girlfriend.
Yes. So much. Yes. And so I love that you say, this is why I'm here. This is my God-given mission to help women step into actually who they are and own it and not feel like it's like, oh, I have to downplay this or, oh, whatever. And so by doing so, you're making a huge difference and helping women who then in turn will turn around and make a difference in the world as well. When we can step into being our best self, it's not just helping us, it's going to be this cycle that just keeps going and keeps going.
Yeah, because when you feel good, you do good. But when you're still like in that survival mode, then you're not thriving. And I just want to empower people to feel good so then they can go pass it on. It has this ripple effect.
For sure, which I love. All right, so I have a question for you. You've got this inner mean girl. What are some things that you have found when you're dealing with your inner mean girl that like she loves, or that's when you find her coming out a lot more?
That's such a good question. So one thing to realize is that your inner mean girl kind of has like a main message that she loves to tell you. And because she knows that it can kind of get you, so mine for me, and I think this is for many women, is that you're a bad mom. So like I said, I have 4 kids. The message that my inner mean girl loves to say is that you're a bad mom. Sorry to say. And that's something I've had to work really hard on not allowing, because, so let me give you an example of my inner mean girl. Let me
Okay.
tell you a story about her. So my son, I have a 9-year-old son, and he really wanted to do lacrosse because his best friend joined lacrosse. Well, one thing about us, Francis, is that we're not very sporty. We don't really do sports that involve a ball. We're more like surfy, skateboard, technology stuff. So when he said he wanted to do lacrosse, I was like, sure, yeah, sure, but I don't know what I'm doing. It's not my thing. So, but I wanted to support him. So we signed him up, and his first game, I was in charge of taking him because my husband had to take my older boys somewhere else. And so I took him to his first game. And of course, in true Kelli fashion, I was late. And so we show up like 5 minutes late to his game, and we're like running down the hill. I'm like, come on, let's go. We're late. And we get there, and it turns out we were supposed to be there 30 minutes before for him to practice. So now we're 35 minutes late, and he's not wearing a uniform. That did not even cross my mind to have him wear a uniform. And so I show up, he's not wearing a uniform. We're 35 minutes late. And I'm like, his coach is already out on the field. I'm like, trying to like kind of wave down the coach and get Max in the game. And then my inner mean girl saw like an opening, and she was ready to pounce. So she started saying like, you're a bad mom. Look at this. You don't even care about your son and the details of his life. Like, how could you neglect this? And started spiraling. And I'm used to that. I'm used to that message. And so I was like, no, not today, Lucy. So I named my inner mean girl Lucy, and her last name is Fur.
Yes.
And I was like, no, not today. Like, we're not gonna play that. We're not gonna go there, because I know that when I start to go there, it starts to snowball, and then she'll continue and be like, here's some evidence. Here's some evidence of why you're a bad mom. Here's some past evidence, because our brain loves to be right. So it's going to show us past evidence. And so I've learned to be my own best friend, because that's really what I believe confidence is having, self-love is having a relationship with yourself, like a loving relationship with yourself. And so I have to show the love that I show to, others, to myself, and say the things that I would say to my best friend or my kids if they were like starting to, get down on themselves. And so I had to be like, no, you're doing your best, and that's all you can do. That's one of the things I say to myself all the time. Like, hey, you're doing your best, and that's all you can do. And another thing I said to myself, and these are, kind of affirmations, or some people hate the word affirmations because it sounds very like woo woo.
Yeah.
But I like to call them reminders or power statements. They're just things that help me like feel better and give myself some grace. And another one is, it's okay to make mistakes while we're learning. That's one that my librarian used to say to me when I was a kid. And so I was like, no, it's okay to make mistakes while we're learning. This is our very first lacrosse game ever. I've never had another kid in lacrosse, and we're learning. And then the other thing was, I started talking to some of the other parents, and there were a couple that were like, oh yeah, we forgot to bring a uniform too. And oh, we were late too. And I think that's important as well. That's another way to drop kick your inner mean girl, is to share those experiences be a little bit vulnerable, because that's sharing releases shame. So when you share, that shame goes away, because your inner mean girl wants you to think that you're the only one that does this, that you are alone, and that you're the only mom that forgets to, show up on time or wear his kid's uniform or whatever it is. So when you start sharing and being vulnerable, like, oh, I feel so bad, you're going to find out that you are so not alone. So that's my experience with that's just an example of my inner mean girl and her message.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely think that that one is such a big one for us is you're a bad mom. You're a bad mom, especially for us where we are in motherhood. That's a huge part of our day in, our day out, a part of our identity. If we're doing a good enough job, it's so hard to measure if we are. And
Mhm.
like you said, your brain will look for that proof. It wants all of that proof. And I love that you have had enough practice to be able to be like, no, 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 hold on. We can find proof on the other side of this spectrum.
Yes.
Like, I'm a good mom, and here's proof of it. It's so easy to go down the negative spiral. I was in one. I actually did an episode this week about a judgment and FOMO spiral that I was in.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I was going, and I could feel myself just being like, we're down this slide right now. And to be like, nope, nope, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Let's turn this ship around, because you can find evidence on either side. If you want to go down the spiral of I'm a bad mom and find all of that evidence, go for it. Have fun. It's
Yeah.
not going to be a great time. Or you can be like, hold up, there's evidence on the other side as well. And let's focus on that one instead.
Yeah. And because I think I just got so sick of how I felt when I went down that slippery slide of shame, of negativity, and like feeling awful about myself, and being like, here's all the reasons why you suck, and I got so sick of feeling that way, and I was done. I feel like you hit a point where you're like, no, I'm done with this. Like, I don't want to feel guilty. I don't want to feel bad about this anymore. And so I had to learn to like talk back to my inner mean girl.
Wow, this episode is chock full of good stuff. Want to know what else is full of good stuff? Juice Organics. It is my go-to solution for getting more greens in my diet because, let's face it, sometimes getting in enough veggies is hard. But not anymore. Now, I'm basically juicing every single day, but without the hassle and without the mess. With just one scoop of Juice Organics, I'm giving my body over 40 organic fruits and vegetables grown by local organic farmers. Juice Organics' mission is to inspire and empower families to live healthier lives by making it simple. Well, I'd say mission accomplished. Right now, you can get 2 for the price of 1 with a special buy 1, get 1 free discount just for podcast listeners. Head to juiceorganics.com. That's juice, Juice, and then use the code POSITIVEU, that's positive and the letter U, at checkout to score your discount. Now, let's get back into the show. So, positive self-talk. I love how you said self-love is being in a loving relationship with yourself, which I have not really ever heard of it that way, but it is. It's like being a best friend to yourself. And of course, if you had gone there with your best friend and she was the mom that had gotten there late and was beating herself up, you wouldn't be like, yep, you're a total bad mom.
That's true. I wouldn't be like, yeah, you kind of are a bad mom, and here's some examples.
Yeah, remember when you also did this? Like, you're a really crappy mom. Like, no, you would never do that. You'd be like, hey, friend, like, it's okay. And I think we totally need to,
Yeah, like, we wouldn't even do that to our worst enemies,
No. And so it's so funny that we do that to ourselves and that we just go down this thing and it's like, whoa, Linda, let's chill.
Yeah. Totally.
So I love that, just being your own best friend. And like you said, affirmations. And some people, don't love that word, whatever you want to call it, affirmations, power statement, how you talk to yourself. I think that is huge. And I'm curious if you have like a affirmation practice that you do, or if like how you put that into your life. Is that something that's become a bigger part of it, or if it's just like, oh, I need a quick little affirmation to tell myself?
Yes. So I have like in the morning, and I make it super simple because like I said, I'm a mom of four. I run, a couple businesses. And so I'm super busy. So I don't have all this time to do this. Like, I don't, I'm not that mom that's like sipping tea and looking out the window with a fuzzy blanket in the morning. Like
Yeah.
ain't nobody got time for that. So I have a super quick, affirmations. Again, I like to call them reminders, just things I want to remind myself each day. And so what I do is I created a Google Doc. You can make it a notes on your phone. If you are a paper and pen person, you could do that. But I just write down some reminders that I want to tell myself each day on my Google Doc. But that's also where I have my gratitude journal. And so I just go to my gratitude journal on my Google Doc, and and you can literally do this like first thing when you grab your phone in the morning, which is what many of us do.
99.9.
Right? And so I'll grab my phone and just like review. So it's at the very top of my Google Doc, just like the things I want to remember that are super important to me. And I add to it, sometimes, like I just added one that says, I am an intentional mom. And so it just reminds me of what's important to me every day and what I'm trying to work through as well. Things that are kind of weaknesses that I'm working on and stuff like that. And then also I'll just read through those each day, and then I'll add 5 bullet points of things I'm grateful for. And it literally takes like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
I love that. Just kind of a quick thing, which I love how you said, I've got 8,000 things going on. Sometimes morning routines and doing all these things in the morning, when we hear like moms need to take time for themselves in the morning and wake up first thing. And suddenly you've got this 2-hour to-do list where it's like, is this actually serving me, or is this just another thing to do? So I love that it's something so quick. It's not like another thing on your plate. It's just kind of setting yourself up and putting your mindset in the right place first thing in the morning, but without having it be like this elaborate, crazy to do.
And it's something literally you could do while you're sitting in the car, at the carpool line, or while you're like in the bathroom. Like it's
anything.
It's just anytime you get like a few minutes, it's like, oh, I need to do that.
Yeah, perfect. And there was one thing that I did with affirmations, when I had one specific that I wanted to work on, like I am an intentional mom, like you said, is I would make a cute little screensaver and have that be my screensaver on my phone, so that I didn't have to have like an intentional time that I was reminding myself that, but literally every time I picked up my phone, I was like, I'm an intentional mom. I was like, dang right I am.
Yes.
And it was just kind of that focus. So that was kind of a fun little thing that I did that really helped just keep it at the front of my mind, because let's be honest, we pick up our phones a lot during the day. So that was kind of a fun little way for me to incorporate those affirmations or reminders or power statements, or whatever you want to call them. Good vibes to send yourself.
In fact, I totally have that on my phone right now. I have one that says, if you want to be interesting, be interested.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So that's a genius idea, Jessie. I love that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so we're drop kicking our inner mean girl. We're checking ourselves. We're switching. We're being a friend to ourselves. Reminders. What else can we kind of do to make sure that we're being a little bit more intentional and not letting Lucy, as you call her, creep in and wreck our day?
Another one is here's the other thing, is that we don't even recognize, this is something that some people don't even know it's a problem, because they don't even recognize their inner mean girl. So I have a challenge for anyone listening to this, and that is to take a day, just write down, again, on your notes on your phone, all the negative things that your inner mean girl says to you. If you're a dude and you're listening to this, I call it a brain bully for my sons. I have 3 sons. Any of the things, and you will be shocked at the things, even if you consider yourself a fairly confident person, you'll be shocked at some of the things that, your brain bully says to you. And like, for example, in one day, my inner mean girl said, you have a bad attitude. You are getting fat. Your thighs are huge. people are probably talking trash about you. You are an inadequate mother. And it's like, what? You know?
Yeah.
So first of all, just recognizing that voice and being like, okay, no wonder I'm struggling in this area, you know, because you've got this negative voice. And here's the thing. Everyone has an inner mean girl. So it doesn't go away. It's not like you can drop kick it once and it dies.
Yeah.
It's a constant battle that you have to work on. And, you know, and it takes some practice too, but it's just something that we have to first even recognize it before we can, you know, fight back, I guess.
Yeah, if there's not a problem, right? You don't why fix anything if you don't think you have a problem? And that is so crazy. I don't know that that's a challenge I want to take personally by writing down all those negative things, because it really would just bring those to the forefront. I mean, something simple like, "Oh, that was stupid." You know,
Yeah.
and just like little tiny things that you probably don't even notice that you're doing, but that could be very, very eye-opening.
Oh, it's so eye-opening. Like, because you just are going about your day, and we have thousands and thousands of thoughts every day. But the thing is that thoughts are not facts. You know, thoughts are theories. So we can't believe everything that comes into our head. And the reason that we have an inner mean girl is because there's just a resistance. There's just going to be resistance in whatever you do. That's what Stephen Pressfield calls it in the War of Art. I mean, some people call it, you know, the enemy, Satan, whatever you want to call it, but there's always going to be resistance, especially when you're trying to do something good. So and also when you're making a big change too. So if you're, you know, moving, anytime if you're like trying to start a business, any big changes, there's going to be a lot of resistance. Expect your inner mean girl to like amp it up, because she doesn't want you to change. She wants you to stay stuck. She doesn't want you to progress. She doesn't want you to step into your power and become your best self. She's going to stop you in any way she can.
Yes. Well, because we're comfortable where we are. We're comfortable with what we know, even if what we know is crap. We're
Yeah.
comfortable there because we know it, we expect it. So when we are trying to level up in whatever way it might be, of course she's going to rise up and be like, no, because guess what? Your inner mean girl is actually scared. She's not actually being a mean girl. She's terrified of being something else.
Yeah. She's terrified that she will no longer be a part of your life.
Yeah.
If you start drop kicking her on the daily, you know?
Yes. Oh, so good. So crazy. So eye-opening. But,
Yeah.
and like you said, we can't just drop kick her once. We have to keep going. We have to keep these practices in place.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do that, your confidence increases. And as your confidence increases, we're just going to go round and round in this awesome circle instead of a negative circle. And
Yeah.
so when it comes to your confidence, what do you do, Kelly? You're the confidence queen. What do you do to keep that confidence level high?
So, okay. So I feel like confidence is not something that I truly believe that everybody is born confident. Like if you look at your kids, you know, kids are like the most confident. They're just like, I can do anything. Look at me, you know?
Yes.
And then the world kind of tells them otherwise, you know, and that's really unfortunate that they hear voices, or they start comparing themselves, or, you know, like they go to junior high and high school, things like that, that kind of start to like wear at their confidence. And so one thing that has always helped me is being willing to try new things. And and I think a lot of people are scared to try new things because it's the fear of the unknown, right? But so for me, it's just really about, I just want to see what happens. I call it an experiment. It's an experiment with fear.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just like, let's just see what happens. And it's one of the authors that we had in my Fearless Girl book club last month. She said, being confident is being brave enough to suck. That's Judy Holler. And I was like, I love that so much. And so you have to be brave enough to suck and kind of put yourself out there. And here's the thing, you're going to suck the first time. Like that's just how it goes. But like you got to start somewhere. And so just being willing, I was telling you before we started this recording, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my podcast. Like I am faking it till I make it. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go and being willing to start sloppy. And so, but just be willing to try new things and start small, like super small, like micro step, baby steps, and doing those small wins. So if you can find a way to like just have like a small win, then you'll be like, hey, I did that small thing. Maybe I could try this next thing,
Mm-hmm.
So trying to figure out some small wins that are going to give you that boost to be like, well, maybe I could, try this other thing. So trying things and just being brave enough to suck. And that has been huge for me.
Yeah. Well, and I love what you said about making it an experiment.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes the pressure off a little bit. And there was another author, Jen Sincero she writes the Badass books.
Yeah.
And she had, I think the way she worded it was, I just want to see. Like, I just want to see if this, or like, if I do this, I just want to see. And it takes that pressure away from you of like, I'm doing this. And if I fail, oh no, the world's ending. It's like, I just want to see. And so like the same thing, like with your podcast, like, I just want to see if I can do a podcast or like.
Totally.
And yeah, you give yourself those little quick wins. When you said start small, I was like, girl, you are speaking my language. That is what I'm all about. Like, you come to me with a goal, I'm like, make it smaller. People are like, wait, smaller? Wouldn't you want me to make a bigger goal? I'm like, no, make it smaller. You need that proof, and then that's going to help you like push forward. So I am all here for all of that.
Yeah. In fact, one of the other authors in our book club, he said, his name is John Acuff. He has a book called Finish, which is a really great book for goals. And he said, cut your goals in half. Like we're all like taking on too many things. Instead of eating the giant sub sandwich, eat like just one bite.
Yes.
So I loved that idea too.
Yeah. So good. All right. Well, I think we have a lot to sit here and marinate on. So many good things. Kelli, if I am listening to this and I'm like, yes, I need more, help me. I need to kick my mean girl. I need to fear less. Where's all the places we can go to find you?
Well, you can go find me on Instagram at Kelli France, KELLIFRANCE. You can also DM me on Instagram, and I will give you my 6 ways to dropkick your inner mean girl workbook. You can find me on Clubhouse. I'm obsessed with Clubhouse.
Clubhouse is so fun.
I have a website called kellifrance.com where you can join my book club. It's free. We have 3,500 women in there. It's so fun. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. I will have links to everything below where you can find all things Kelli France, all things confidence. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and talking to me today, and also for just being a light in the world, for being that shining example, that mentor, and also being real. Like, we know, like, I see you with your confidence and with everything, but I also see you when you have a crap day and when you're like, listen, Lucy got the best of me today.
Right.
Yes. And so just thank you for showing up and for being an example and a light.
Thank you, Jessie. It's an honor.
Aw, thanks. Thank you for hanging out with me again today. I'm so glad you pressed play. If you want to take a quick second to share this episode with someone you think would love it too, that would be amazing. If you're loving the show, make sure you go and leave a review on iTunes. Reviews are like magic for podcasts, and your review will help get this show into the ears of more amazing women just like you. And come find me over on Instagram. I'm there at positively.jessie, and I cannot wait to hang out with you some more. So until next time, have an amazing week.